Good evening. Yes, good evening. It's kind of late right now, but is what it is. So, we are right now with episode 2 of Harem, Labyrinth in Another World. Another isekai anime brought to you by Interspecies Reviewers. The same show that is still to this day, in my book, one of the best animes right now. Anyway, last week's episode of Harem and Labyrinth in Another World, there weren't a lot of we didn't get a lot of information from the first episode. You know what I mean? We didn't get a lot. Sorry. We didn't get a lot. And that's kind of, it's kind of hard to understand the storyline, but, it's typical isekai anime. So like all isekais, you get transported to another world. You start doing things that you want to do in an isekai world, buying armor, get slaves. Have you seen Redo of Healer? Rising the Shield Hero? Anything that involves slaves. That's how mostly isekais are. But last week's episode, we got fan service. And like fan service, it is ecchi, by the way. And thank God it's not even on like any hentai website. Which, by the way, doesn't even be. Which, by the way, doesn't even have to. It doesn't need to be in a hentai category. Like, for real. For real, it doesn't need to be. Episode 2 did give us something to talk about, but technically episode 2 didn't give us nothing, didn't give us not much as we expected, but it did give us something to know by, that's basically it. So without further ado, let's get right to the review of Harem in a Labyrinth in Another World. Okay, so after episode 1, given we got Roxanne, and the fan services there, we got to see a time skip. Right off the gate, a time skip. 10 years. 10 years in the future. Where he's all grown up, matured, everything, with his harem, Roxanne and the others. And I think what they did is giving us what we were gonna, I think what they're gonna do is giving us what we want. I think it's gonna tell us like the future, like 10 years now, he's gonna end it with his harem. So like in the 10 years gap, you know what I mean? But he's gonna have his harem with him. So you go 10 years to where it all began, where he lay down in the barrel of hay. Remember the horse that he petted and the sword. He remember everything that happened. And then he sees his son. It's very touching. It's very touching to see how he left 10 years, and see his son all grown up. Like, we all know that was his son. And he realized, like, oh, the mom is there, who he made out with, and gave him his sword that Roxanne gave him. So it's like, that's so sweet. That is so sweet. But I wish she would have said, I'm your son. But I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it more memorable. Like, remember him because he might die. Because the way how it looked like he's going to die or something like that. We don't know. Okay, now, this whole entire episode was about enough to buy Roxanne. That was his whole thing about. Enough to buy Roxanne. And he got days. So, like all adventurers and all isekais, what do? Level up. Defeat monsters, creatures with monsters, whatever, and earn experience and sell some stuff. Just like in Kingdom Hearts. You know how in Kingdom Hearts, you go to a world, and then you just kill all these Heartlesses, and then you get all these rare items and bits and whatnot, and then you go to a shop, and then you sell them. You sell them for cash, and then you use them to level up Donald, Sora, and Goofy. Or your fourth character. Either way, you're just like that. So, and again, going inside this labyrinth that they just opened. The labyrinth is so like, what I would have expected? I would have expected more of a Goblin Slayer type vibe fantasy with a little bit of Redo of Healer. Like, you take this show with interspecies reviewers, sprinkle it with the Goblin Slayer, and sprinkle it with a little more Redo of Healer, and boom, you got a show like this where it's so uncensored you can see what they're going to do. But we didn't. Now, I know this is going to be a sad day to say it, but let's say it. Let's all agree on this. There is no fan service in this episode. Honestly, it's sad. I understand. Everybody wanted to see all that like happened last week. You know, where they're showing all the butts and down there, all that stuff. I get that. I get that. But this week we didn't get fan service. Like high voltage, sheer metal testament level voltage, interspecies reviewer voltage fan service. We didn't get that. It was just about a guy, this MC who tries to spend days trying to figure out how to buy Roxanne. He got days. So he goes into his labyrinth, make sure he's all prepared, and he go against these tree-like twig monsters that you see in The Legend of Zelda. These tree-looking creatures. Okay. And he get to test his powers, especially when he's slow time. But I'm like, why would you use it on a level 1 creature? It's just a tree creature. Sorry. It's just a tree creature. It ain't like it's gonna do nothing. Just kill the damn thing. Okay, kill the damn thing. Boom. And then after sorry, I'm myself today. Bear with me on this. Okay. And then after killing, tree after tree, chopping trees, slicing trees, one by one, enough to make a birdhouse and whatnot, he goes sell them, but it's not enough. So he's like, what can I do to go? What can I do to level up? Because remember, the old man said, okay, if you kill bounties, they're gonna make you the head bounty. Like, you're gonna have a price on your head. If you continue killing bounties, you're gonna have a high price on your head. He wasn't even thinking that. So it's like, so basically it's like this. You have a choice. Would you rather go to a labyrinth and kill off these creatures in a labyrinth, knowing that your life is on the line, and still trying to kill as much as you can just to buy Roxanne, or look at one of these bounties, see who's worth much, you get the bounty, and then you buy Roxanne? Like, which is more? But the catch is, you're gonna be the top like target. You're gonna be the target. So it's like, which one would you do? So for him, he's like, okay, I'm gonna go to the dungeon again. And he decided to like kill some creatures, the same tree creatures. But when he went inside the secret passage, a secret room, there was like not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, not 10. Over 100, I'll say over 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 these tree creatures, and he is slicing them one by one. Basically, he's like the Paul Bunyan. Just keep slicing trees. I'm like, really? Really? That's what it's about? I mean, yeah, I get it. We didn't get any fan service. But come on. Give us something. Like, I get it. It's not fan service. There's no fan service. But again, he's just trying to buy Roxanne. And that's what this whole episode's about. I think the next episode, he's still got a lot to improve. Or based off the harems that we seen in the beginning of the episode, it's safe to say that he gonna do what he can to get them. Probably at a brothel, probably somewhere else. Either way, we'll see how this goes. But like I said, this episode was okay. I understand that people were expecting some kind of interspecies reviewer graphic type etchiness that, we were going to get out of it. And even though we didn't get it this week, this is like to them it's like saying, okay, episode 1, we gave you the fan service. Now we're going to tweak it down a bit. We're going to turn it down a bit, focus on the MC getting Roxanne. And then once he gets Roxanne, the fan service started to build up again. So let's just wait, be patient, and let's see where this goes. Let's see the direction of what he has to do to get them. So let's be patient. Remember, this is episode 2. This is just a stepping stone. It's just a stepping stone. Don't leave because episode 2 didn't give us what we wanted like last week. But then again, episode 2, pretty good. Decent. Maybe a little less, but still, it is what it is. Next week, let's see what they're going to give us. Let's see. But like I said, this was a good episode. I had to repeat myself, but you know what? It's a good episode. We'll see how episode 3 is. Will he get enough to buy Roxanne? We all know he is, but let's see how he begins to level up and how he continue to get the money he can to buy Roxanne. I mean, he got a few days left, but I know he can make it. So, stay tuned for next week of Harem and Labyrinth of Another World.